Good evening. You may find the following scenes both shocking and disturbing. We here at Tamper Tantrum have endeavoured from the start to ensure that all episodes will be made in one single take, unedited. For this reason, we have decided to push ahead with the broadcasting of this episode despite the ridiculous claims that I made in the early parts of this episode. Due to excitement and nerves and tension, I made a claim that in hindsight was both ridiculous, unwarranted. For the record, I would like to state that I do not and never have considered myself to be either gentle or indeed a giant. If the truth be told, I'm honestly kind of irritable, and even despite being lanky, I'm quite average in height. I have no reason why I made these outlandish claims. They are ridiculous and hurtful to those that I care a lot about. Please accept my apologies and my assurances that I will never, ever bring such untruths to your screens again. I am deeply sorry. Please enjoy it. Hello and welcome to episode the second of Tamper Tantrum, the video cast all about copy people,
Copy toys.
copy.
Yeah.
Copy.
We weren't going to interrupt, were we?
No. So all about coffee, and my name is Colin Harmon. I'm a freelance barista, coffee trader, gentle giant.
That's a nice title.
Little guy. I don't know what I am. Yeah, and I'm from Dublin.
And my name is Steve Leighton, and I'm a small coffee roaster in Stafford.
Tiny. Yeah, and so as you may have noticed, the last episode we were filming from Steve's Roastery. So this, as you can see, is not Steve's Roastery. This is in fact my spare bedroom in my house here in Dublin. So welcome everybody to Dublin.
And to give you a little tour of the said...
Dying to show off his new iPhone.
Yeah. We've got a little bit of coffee to try to... Oh, what's that?
I don't know, yeah, that's just a little trophy I got.
Oh, a little trophy,
Yeah.
Okay.
So all these tables were all made by my Uncle Eddie. And
Hello, Uncle Eddie.
They're all complete WBC spec. Everything is the same height as the table, same dimensions. So it was where I did all my training, and everything is rather insane. And we have the WBC spec Aurelia.
We love you, Simonelli.
Oh yeah. So essentially, I think it's fair to say that one of the best coffee machines in this country is in my spare bedroom.
Yes. He doesn't love the sponsors very much of the WBC, but we love you, Simonelli.
Yeah, so this is where I lived for the last few months, and it's good to have some guests here for a change, because I'm usually talking to that wall pretending that they're judges. So it's nice to have a little bit of interaction, even if it is him. So yeah, let's get to it.
Let's get in there.
So we had a lot of feedback.
We did. Lots and lots of feedback. For those that kind of didn't see on the blog, that we actually hit number 2, and I'm just going to show you a number 2 on the screen now, in the number 2 of the iTunes video podcast chart. Which
Who was number 1?
Jamie Oliver, some bloke from London.
It's the guy who...
Yeah. It wasn't as good as us, but yeah, now we kind of made it to number 2, and at one point I was at number 3 and number 4, Colin.
Was that? Oh, with your...
In my mug.
In his mug.
So no, it was really cool, and that was because of you guys subscribing, but we also had lots of feedback. We didn't have a great deal of call-outs.
No, I was kind of hoping for more. I think you guys are being a little too nice to us. Maybe...
I think we were too good. That's basically what happened.
Maybe they didn't think we could take the criticism. I don't know. Got a few burns.
We did get one from somebody.
For this week, if you're going to do it, the email address is idiots@tampertantrum.com. So if you spot a mistake, email us in and we'll send you out this month's coffee as a prize, which is Kanjati, can we that one?
Yeah, maybe Kanjati. Kanjati's good.
It's nice coffee. So that's yeah. So go ahead. So last month, we got burned pretty badly. So the one we got burned, if you just excuse me for a second, now came from somebody that you may have heard of.
And I'm just going to pop this on the screen now.
Where have you go now? There we go. So
do you know this Steamo?
Steamo?
Steamo? No.
Yes. So apparently I'm mauling the cup, as you can see there. Mauling the cup. Now, that's hardly fair, is it?
I don't know.
So
you do maul a little bit.
Just 1 second now.
Oh, you're not going to do the pigeon thing again, are you? You've already showed them the pigeon.
This is going to... Okay, this is how Stephen was telling me to do it before. So you hold like this and with your thumb like this, so it's nice and delicate. Now, this is how I like to hold it. So it is like you're cradling a little baby pigeon. Little baby. It's because of the baby. Baby pigeon.
Have you finished yet?
Yeah. So, yeah, so we invited Stephen up today to accept his award.
And showing you on this photograph, he came, but
Yeah.
he came in his dressing gown.
Where? That was a bit weird.
So we kind of felt that the dressing gown, we kind of decided that he shouldn't win.
It was a little inappropriate.
It wasn't
Sorry about
right.
that. Yeah, so we had to.
So instead, we we have a winner because we were bribed.
We were, yeah.
We were
essentially
bribed with some coffee from Jesse from Gimme Coffee in New York, and Jesse spotted that we said that Yanks don't get football, but he claimed that he did get football, but then he let out that he's a Newcastle fan, and that kind of really means you don't know football. But because he bribed us with coffee, and Steamo came in his dressing gown.
And we are anyone's, seriously, if you want to send us something.
It's so easy to buy and mention on this show.
So
You send us coffee and we will definitely talk
Did I
about
mention
it.
this in another yet?
Oh, they're not going to send you another machine. Just get over it. It's not going to happen.
Oh well. But anyway, yeah, so thank you very much. So we had a... Are we going to brew this now? Yeah?
We're going to brew this, but we're going to brew this in a slightly different way. Because we're silly.
So okay, we were having this ridiculous conversation, and for some reason we
was it when we were drunk?
Yeah, probably.
We
convinced each other to do this as a little segment. But the Eva Solo, great brewer. Steve's used it on the In My Mug.
A couple of times. I've really got into it, and I've been using it a lot at home. It's a great brewer.
Yeah, and I think Intelligentsia obviously do a lot of it, and James Hoffman was using it down in Capiculture. So it's kind of like, cool thing to do at the moment. But
we thought
it's not expensive. How much do they retail for?
about £30 pounds.
£30, it's a little expensive. Okay, so
It's not just the expense though. But it's not just the expense though. It's finding them. Not many people got them.
Yeah.
I kind of haven't seen any in the
They
UK.
are pretty though.
They are pretty. I mean, we brought them in ages ago, but we've hardly sold them. So.
So okay, but imagine this. Okay, if you're on a desert island. Okay, you're on a desert island, and all you have, okay, you're there. You've been
It's
washed
coffee
up.
beans.
Okay, all you have is 10-day-old.
Exactly, 10-day-old.
10-day-old
Panama Harmon
honey coffee.
Gimme Coffee.
A Guatemala, a Malcona Guatemala grinder.
A generator to power the grinder.
Yeah, and a wine bottle.
And a kettle.
And a kettle and a scales.
Yeah.
How would you do it? Because you don't have Eva Solos on desert islands, do you? Like it's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
What would you do?
So I've got an idea. Why don't we use this?
Why don't we use this?
Because we've got a funnel as well, which is kind of quite convenient.
Yeah, because they grow.
And I just so happen to have made this little kind of filter mesh.
That would have been like what the chef would have used to take the poached eggs out of the pot in the galleon, wouldn't he?
That's it. And I actually made it. Rudimentary tools. I put it together.
And it's got bamboo in it. Like what desert island doesn't have bamboo in it?
That's it. So
this is real desert island coffee stuff here.
So I'm going to excuse my back while Colin tells you all about what's been happening to him in the past month. It's been, I don't know about you, but I've kind of always thought, how would I talk about what I've done in a month? But since the last one of these, kind of loads has happened to you, loads has happened to me, there's loads happening in the coming month.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, now there is stuff to talk about. So anyway,
so when I left you last, I was at the roastery with Steve, and I was going to go head down to Cafe Culture, so that was really, really cool. So I got up in the morning, I was exhausted, absolutely exhausted after trying to keep up with Steve Leighton for 4 days, and looking at the guy is exhausting, but actually trying to keep up with him. So did a bit of roasting. There's a picture of me roasting now. There you go, listening for first crack. That was a lot of fun. And then you know it's on a really fine setting, Steve.
Yeah, but that's on the desert island. We can't actually change the setting because your grinder doesn't have a dial on it.
Yeah, you just twist it round.
Right.
Twist it anti-clockwise.
And then mess up your grind for when it comes to the espresso, and you'd really thank me for that, I know.
Well, you just have to twist it all the way back around again. I'm actually short an espresso grinder at the moment, so what I'm doing is I'm using Guatemala for espresso. But it works, it's fun. Anyway, so went down to London on the train, and then got there and went up and spent a very lazy afternoon. It was like coffee internet land. You know when you meet all coffee people and it's like the internet. That's what it was kind of weird, like, because I went to Square Mile and I had lunch with Annette and Cindy Chang.
Breathe in. Go on.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah.
Sorry.
And Cindy Chang, who's just moved over here. It was great to see her.
I've not met Cindy.
Yeah, she's really nice. She's really, really nice. And then just as we were sitting there having lunch, the girl from the WBC whose name I've forgotten now. That's really rude of me. Her name is probably on the screen now.
Who's putting that name on the screen now?
You are. Every time I do that, Steve has to do it.
Every time he does that, I go, ow!
So, and then that was great. And then, so, that's a kettle boiling. So, we really got to get some more space in here. You know?
We do need more
I should have
space.
converted my front room into the coffee lab instead of this bedroom.
Well, I think this should just be the annex of the coffee room.
Yeah, it should have been. So, but yeah, so then guess what turns up? But Gwillim's prize. Yeah, Gwillim's lever machine. So, I got to drag Gwillim's prize into Square Mile for him. That's so privileged.
I actually have, which I'm going to put on the screen now, a little video clip of a shot being pulled on Gwillim's machine.
Oh, cool.
So at least I hope I've still got it.
Alright, so there you go.
But if there isn't a video, then I'll just told a complete lie and ignore me.
Yeah, and and I just did a really weird face there for a few seconds. So yeah, and I think James Hoffman did a big post thing on lever machines that are very interesting. I know nothing about them, so maybe that's something for another week. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. So then went to stay with John Gordon and Lawrence Brown, top guys, thank you, from Ristretto, and they were then in Wimbledon, so went down to stay with them, had a few beers, got up next day, went to Cafe Culture. It was really a lot of fun, and it's like internet land again. Ooh, there we go. I hope it doesn't taste like
No,
wine.
it needs to brew a little bit. I'm sure it will.
Are you timing that? Do you have a stopwatch on the desert island?
Don't have a stopwatch on the desert island, but I have noticed the time on the laptop, and I'll.
Okay.
By the way, if I keep
You only do it in the sun as well.
if I keep looking down here, that it's because I'm looking at the laptop, because we tried to make this a bit more organised this time, haven't we? Where we've got an agenda and everything and a plan,
Yeah,
and
we've got rules
that we've already not followed, but that's okay.
Yeah. So where are we? So Cafe Culture. It was really good, and it was kind of like, okay, so there was some really cool bars there and some cool people, and it was kind of like, well, okay. So we had this discussion before. Now, is it like a big syrup convention or is it cool? Now, okay. So Steve, you personally, I think, okay, that you're right, but at the same time, you're in the wrong by being right. Okay, because I think the whole time I was there, okay, and there was some really cool coffee people there, but there could have been more, okay, and the whole time I couldn't help thinking, this would be better if Steve was here. And I know you give out about it and you're saying it's not good, but by definition, if you were there, it would be better. So why give out about it?
I don't think I would make anything better. But I get your point that you're talking about. If the specialty industry and the more select industry don't embrace it, then, I mean, for instance, if Square Mile and James and Annette weren't there, I think it'd be absolutely awful. You know, there'd be nothing to go down for, would there really? You think, you know, kind of not offending sponsors that you may be wearing logos of and things, but I think
they can't see my underwear.
The difference is I don't understand what the organisers are trying to achieve with it. That's my hang up with it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily that I mean we did it. We did the first ever one, you know, and we picked nothing up from it because its target audience wasn't our target audience.
Yeah.
And there's no point going to a show and spending thousands and thousands of pounds. And I mean that show cost me. I worked out around about £4,500 to do that show, and we picked up 12 customers from it.
Yeah, you probably do more 4.5.
I could have picked up the phone for half an hour and probably picked up more customers from that, and more targeted customers.
Yeah.
On saying that, 5 of the customers we did pick up from it some of our most important customers now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand what you're saying.
But it'd be cool. There's so many coffee fans out there that want to go to a place where you can taste the best coffees.
Yeah.
And it's not happening, and I don't see how it ever will happen. And it would be great if it did.
I agree. I'm going to go get some cups because we haven't got any cups.
Just use
I've got cups. Okay.
But you can pour into this little that little thing there.
Little thing with. No, I'm just going to do straight to the cups.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, because we don't have that little thing on the desert island. Are you not paying attention?
You don't get these on desert islands. What was I thinking? Oh, egg on my face.
No, you look foolish.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun, and I spent a few days down there with John and Lawrence, and that was a lot of fun to feel back. So since then, I've been doing a load of different things. I've been doing a bit of training, a bit of kind of consultancy work with some people that are setting up cafes, and they want my help because kind of like you walk into a cafe and you see, thank you kindly. I hope we make it home someday. But you walk into a cafe and you say, why are you buying all that rubbish? And essentially this guy that I was working for, he didn't know that much about cafes, and he wants me to come in and help him not buy the rubbish. Which that was a really cool thing. So so I'm helping him out, and that's a lot of fun.
What's that coffee like?
I just
because I don't know a great deal about the Dublin coffee. I know that Bewley's have got a fairly big hold here. There's an awful lot of Bewley's about, isn't there? You got Matthew Algie, who've got a fairly decent presence across here. By the way, Jesse, we are going to try this coffee brewed properly. No, this is like
it's very hot, isn't it?
It is very, very hot, and
that's probably due to the bottle.
Mind you, the solo is glassed. I don't know.
Okay, give me a few seconds to let go.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you were saying to me about
the Dublin scene, kind of what would you say the standard of coffee in Dublin is, say compared to...
It doesn't, I don't think the standard of coffee, like people say, obviously, we managed to make to the finals in the WBC, and Stephen won the WBC, and then people, it's not as progressed as the London scene. But in saying that, there are people like Coffee Angel, Carl Perry, Coffee Angel, and Darwin's are doing a good job, and then there's Beauties are kind of, it's hit and miss, but there are good people and great people who've been through the doors here. So, and then there's like Jackie and Julie at Espresso Logic, and like this, and Matthew Aldi's are kind of getting the whole coffee scene, barista latte art thing going, and it's like it looks like it's just about to go pop, but it hasn't. I'd say give it a few years. Hopefully.
To be fair, and I don't want to kind of steal what I'm going to talk about a little bit later, but I think, London...
Has David Walsh as well.
Huh?
David Walsh.
What about him?
Cup Shiner guy, remember?
Yeah. What about him?
Dublin has David Walsh.
Oh, okay, yeah, no. Dublin has probably the best home barista in the world. That's a big claim, isn't it? But...
it's hot in this desert island, isn't it?
It is. London, 12 months ago, and I'll talk about this more in a bit, is nowhere near what it is now. London's cool now, but 12 months ago, I think it's come an awful long way, but we'll go more on my news.
Well, we do that now.
Do that now?
Yeah.
But we've got to...
Okay, structure.
You were the one that insisted on it. So basically I went down to London a couple of weeks ago with Dom Gazuri of TMC.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Probably not.
Okay.
My pronunciation's like.
Yeah.
And Cake Boy. He's definitely pronounced it Cake Boy.
Kaki Booey.
Mark. So we went down and we did a tour of some of the shops in London. Now it's 12 months since I was last in London on a coffee shop tour.
That there London.
That there London. And we basically went round, I did 8 shops in like 5 hours. I was absolutely wired as well. I was buzzing round.
Me and Dave did that once, and it's
not good.
And then topped it off with a taste of West Coast tasting in Square Mile.
But for me, the actual quality of coffee in London has like gone poof, really changed from 12 months ago when I went. And don't get me wrong, there were some good shops. You got Monmouth. You got, and a lot of.
So you got who were the kind of traditional.
You've got Monmouth, so you got Monmouth Street, and you got Borough Market, and you got the market one as well. So that was 3 that you went to straight away. You got Flat White, who've been doing a great job for ages. But again, something a little bit different. You've got Fernandez and Wells, their traditional shop. The first shop. Yeah. And then you started running out. You've got those guys at Carnaby Street.
Sacred?
Yeah, Sacred. Which,
There was a broom comment.
Yeah. Yeah, do you know, I kind of stick up for Sacred, and I don't know why, because they've never really done anything to deserve me sticking up for them. Kind of, you know, I've had okay coffee from there, but I think people are really harsh on them. I don't know, they've been picked on, but that was it. That was all you'd got, and now you'd got like Bittersweet Taste of Love, Tina We Salute You, Nude, Dose, yeah. Yeah, and all these new ones have suddenly kind of come up. Now a lot of this is because of Square Mile's influence, I think, you know, and not wanting to give the love out too much to them all of the time. But they've done an awesome job of bringing something new to London and making people think about the coffee that they're serving and giving an alternative, which has kind of been good.
It's generally East London, is it?
Yes, but I think they've got some others kind of dotted.
It tends to be cheaper rents around there, maybe. So maybe if somebody builds.
I think it's an up and coming area as well. We went through the part where Nude is, and a Wood Lane. Is it Wood Lane?
Although I heard that
that's meant to be like the really kind of hot place at the minute for property and for where people, like an area that's been fairly run down but is getting a lot of investment. So.
It would be good to see something a bit out of the east anyway.
So I wouldn't kind of say that London is the pinnacle, because it
there's
certainly
a
hasn't
rumour going
been.
around that James and Annette have bought like one of the corner units in Piccadilly Square, and it's
Serious?
No.
Okay.
You can start whatever rumours you want to, remember? That's why we started this.
Oh, fantastic.
You're here first.
So yeah, London's good, but it's not the be all and end all.
Yeah.
So what we got now?
So I was doing a bit of training as well, going around helping players, and I was really, really, really nervous about that. And it was a doddle, and it was just a lot of fun. And I've kind of like made a lot of friends doing it, and kind of it's good to go in and show people stuff, and they say, oh, it's like, oh, the machine is crap.
Even without a table, you still manage to.
This is preventative measure. It just prevents me.
But you know.
Okay, I got in a lot of trouble. A lot of people email saying stop tapping the table, and so I decided that if I put a bongo room here, that'll make me stop it. But I'm done banging my legs. Anyway, so the training was a lot of fun, and it's cool because you go into places and they're like, oh, the machine is crap and the coffee's crap, we can't do it, and all, and it's not our fault and all that. And then you make them a coffee, and you're like, it's not that bad, you can do it, you know. And then it's cool to give people kind of these little things that help them, because there's a lot of kind of I don't know, mistruths we'll call them, that are being passed out, especially by people supplying coffee. And it's just not fair. Like, one thing that shocked me actually, and it really did get to me, was I went to one place and the guy has this machine, okay, so he has a machine, it's a fine machine, nothing spectacular, nothing terrible wrong with it, okay, and he's had it serviced, okay.
Was it in a Vono Simonella?
Shut up, Steve. And he's had it serviced, okay, so I went, okay, so I went to see how clean it was, and the service 2 days before that, okay, went in, took the shower screen down, dropped the block in it, and it took ages to get the block out. He was absolutely caked in coffee. Now, in saying that, that's their fault because they should clean it, but he didn't know he had to clean it. He didn't know he could take it off, and this is generally what you get. But the thing is that a guy came down and serviced their machine and charged them for it, and never took that down. Now, that could have been his kind of just not seeing it, okay. But the thing that really got to me was that they were using a grinder, okay, and they had one of those grinders, you know, when the paddle reaches a certain height and it stops grinding. Oof. So that when basically it grinds until the dough.
So basically an automatic fill.
Yeah, and then when you drop coffee out of that, it grinds it again. So you end up with coffee that sits there for about half an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long it takes to use it. But the thing was, then they have one of these push tampers on the front, okay, which are kind of crappy, but you can use them. Now his machine is a 58mm.
Oh, no, it's coming.
And the tamper that he put, that the guy sold him with the grinder, you know, the push thing, was a 53mm. Now, 1 second. This, right, it's a 53mm, and this is a 58, and it's like, can we see this properly?
Hang on.
Have to get this. This is just wrong, okay? And he was just thinking, does this really matter? And in fairness, he didn't really know. You got it?
Yeah.
Now, so he didn't really know. I explained to him how that made a big difference, but the thing that got me was That's just really dishonest. Now, there's somebody going around and it's one thing not being very good at your job and not knowing that when you service a machine you're supposed to clean these things, whatever, that's one thing. But selling somebody a 53mm tamper for their 58mm machine is just dishonest. Like, it's just not right, and it just gets...
Do you know the best I heard, that you don't have to take the blocks off because when you back flush it cleans it all. You know, that's the kind of thing that you get from machine sellers or service engineers or...
but like when the machine is not working properly and they come back and all it's needed is like a good guy to come in and service the machine for a decent price. What they do is they come back about a year, like, oh, machine's crap, you're not using it properly. You have to, yeah, we can sell you another one, we'll do you a great deal, and then they send them another machine, and then that goes on. Because machines should last you a long time, you should look after them.
If they're serviced and they're cleaned and they're looked after, a machine can last for as long as you can get the parts. You know, it's everything's serviceable on them.
Yeah,
you know,
but
even
I
the
think
boilers and
a lot of people use coffee in all countries, not just in Ireland. They use coffee as a shortcut to making money. As in, like, I can buy coffee for this much money, I can sell it for this much money. Isn't that a great markup? Let's do that.
Well, a lot of the commercial guys though aren't about selling coffee. They're about selling machines. You know, they're about selling you the package.
Yeah.
Coffee for them is almost like the side issue. You know, and particularly when they've got people who are doing the roasting for them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So like, if you're looking to go and set up a coffee shop or anything like that, then just go and ask somebody who knows something and if you can get someone that's trustworthy, I think it's worth paying that little bit more, just because you don't. It'll just really tick me off anyway. But that was a lot of fun. That's a video.
You went to Liverpool.
I went to Liverpool. Yeah, I was working with. Kid. Yeah.
So that was a really bad accent.
Wonderful accents. Yeah, it was not worse than mine.
I won't do the accents.
I was working for Ristretto, who basically flew me over. I make fancy coffees and then they fly me home again. It's like an old John Gordon has to do all the hard work.
Is that Joe O'Hara who used to buy coffee from me but doesn't anymore because he bought his own roast?
Hey Joe. But really cool. So impressive their setup. It's really efficient. It's like a boom, bang, bang, bang. Everything stays in there. You'll never get over it. But it was really funny because I was doing all the lot here and it was at an NHS conference thing, and you can imagine how exhilarating that was. So of course,
loads of nurses.
There wasn't. No, a lot of doctors.
Okay.
And not the good type. But so he's.
What, there is a good type.
I don't know. Anyway, so So anyway, I'm doing latte art is basically all I'm doing. Cups every day and showing pretty pictures. Everyone's having a great time. Lovely coffee, really good, and having a great time. And then, so the word gets around, and of course our stand is absolutely jammed, just because everybody gets a nice cup of coffee for free, you know, and none of the other stands are any bother. So I go into the kitchen to refill up the water tanks, alright, and I'm standing there, and the guy there is cooking the dishes, and he sees me filling up the tanks, and he goes, "Yeah, are you the lad who puts the squiggles on the coffee?" I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I do. In a nutshell, that's exactly what I do. I put squiggles on coffee. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
That's like my job title there.
What's that?
Bean browner.
Bean browner.
Actually, there's a Norm Kilman who's a roaster from the Roastery in the US. Bought a cup of excellence coffees.
You're not going to a desert island with me.
Do a really good kind of job, and his business card actually says Norm Kilman Bean Browner.
Nice.
Just look. So your business card's now going to say
Coffee Squiggler.
Coffee Squiggler.
Coffee Squiggler. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And then what else? I went to Glasgow as well. Matthew Algee flew to Glasgow.
Do you know, I've never been to Matthew Algee. I've been invited, but I never got round to kind of saying, yeah, let's sort a date out, and I would love to go.
They said it to me, and then I rang James Shepherd. I was like, when am I going? And he was like, oh okay, so we're going to go. Be serious. You actually have to bring him. So that was a lot of fun. I met David Craig.
David's a cool guy. Was
Ewan was there?
Ewan.
And Eduarda was there. It was really cool. I had some cupping with her, and it was a lot of fun. How are you stopping yourself?
I'm trying to think of his name. All I can think is Colin now because I'm looking at Colin. I do this so much. I was talking earlier and I couldn't remember Dave's name, and he's just like, no.
But they had a really cool thing actually, and I was telling them they should put this on their website or something. Basically, when you buy, they do electors, but when Connell.
Did you meet Connell?
I think so.
Connell works for Espresso Warehouse.
No, I don't think I met him.
Hi, Connell.
Hi, Connell.
But, you don't know who he is. Why are you saying hi to somebody you don't know who he is?
Just the guy. I've never met him before. I didn't meet the guy for the first time. We're already enemies, so it wouldn't be very good, would it? But anyway, so they basically you can buy they give you electors, but you can buy ones that are refurbed, or they give them to you, you rent them, wherever the way it is they do it. And I was just like, went into their factory. I was like, you should show everybody this is cool. They get in these electors and they are manky. Like people have ruined them. Their things falling off and they're patched up with band-aids and stuck together with glue and all this sort of stuff. And then the engineers go up and they go, oh, that one, and they take it down and they bring it back to life. And you should see it coming back, and then when they're finished, they look immaculate. It's so cool.
Did you meet Bob then, who does a lot of the...
Keith was the guy I was talking about.
Because I know Bob from there.
Genius.
Yeah,
really genius. So they were all trying to show me other stuff, and I was like, oh, I want to stay here looking at these things. It was brilliant, really cool. So that was a lot of fun, really cool. Thank you very much for bringing me up there. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, there's a lot of other stuff I've done, but I can't really remember what else.
I think you came down to us, didn't you, kind of last week?
Oh yeah, me and John dropped into the old Steve and
after John had won the latte art. Yeah.
Well done.
Well
UK
done, John.
2009 latte art champion is John Gordon. Well done, John. I don't think it could happen to a nicer guy.
Yeah.
Because I live in Dublin and I don't.
I think the lovely thing about for John as well is that John kind of tried so hard this year in the UKBC and went out and did something that was like completely off the map. Like, I don't care if you don't like it because I like it. And
what did he do? Tell everybody what he did.
The blend that John used was a blend of 2 Indian coffees from the Balmadi estate, which is the biodynamic coffee from India, and it was washed and natural, 50-50 together. Now, you either love...
Stop there.